Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of metal Pokemon, which are coming around, just been released in Alta Genesis over in Japan. We are talking about Mawile and Probopass. So, let's start off with Mawile, shall we? Now, Mawile is one of these weird ones that's not particularly big and beefy, but by the same token, it doesn't evolve, so it's got to do something interesting. Now, we did see a very blurry image of this a while ago, and that gave away that we were getting a Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff Tag Team GX. Link to that video in the description. But is it actually any good? Well, if we start off having a look at the basics here, it's got 70 HP, which means it's got just enough HP to not be searchable with Professor Elm's lecture. Well, that's a little bit rubbish, ladies and gentlemen. I don't like that very much at all. It's got a retreat cost of 1, which does open up U-turn board, which we do like quite a bit. It has got a weakness to fire, however, which sucks. Now look, you've only got 70 HP, so it's not exactly a huge thing, but Reshiram and Charizard with their Outrage attack, Volcanion attacking when there aren't 4 fire energy on your opponent's side of the field. There are Pokemon that will get a KO more easily because you've got a weakness to fire. The resistance to Psychic we do like. Mewtwo and Mew, and in fact any Pokemon aiming to hit Mewtwo and Mew for weakness, will be doing 20 less to you, which is nice, but again, you've got 70 HP. It's not exactly going to keep you alive forever, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't going to keep you alive forever. But what does it do? Well, the first attack here is probably the better one. 1 colorless energy, search your deck for 2 tag team cards, and put them into your hand. Now, our translation here comes from lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net, but you can see from the wording there that there is no GX symbol. So this is tag team cards, not necessarily tag team GXs. So that means that yes, you can go for your tag team GXs, and it is a colorless energy attack, so it doesn't need to be a metal one here. You can go and search out 2 of those Reshiram and Charizard. But you can also go and search yourself out a couple of red and blue, for instance. Tag team supporter cards. We've got tag team supporter cards now. There have been 6 revealed. I'll link all of them in the description. So you can search out those, and that's lovely. Yes, your opponent can always hurt you with a reset stamp, but I don't worry about turn 1, turn 2 reset stamps. If my opponent reset stamps me to a new hand of 6 cards, then I've got a new hand of 6 cards. I'm kind of alright with that. That's fine. Now, maybe I end up with a really bad hand, that is possible, but if they're using a reset stamp on me when I got 6 prizes remaining, well then they're probably not using a reset stamp on me when I've got 1 prize remaining, and they could really, really hurt me at that stage of the game. So I'm kind of alright with that, ladies and gentlemen. I feel okay about it. Life is good. And I do like this for the searching. I think the searching here is really nice. I just don't know if I want to do this as a attack. I mean, look, one of the cards we are getting in Alta Genesis is Tag Call. And Tag Call is an item card. And it reads, search your deck for 2 tag team cards and put them into your hand. It's an attack version of Tag Call. It is literally Tag Call as an attack. Well, I can use green search to find this, or like a bunch of other stuff. And then I'm not using my attack for the turn. I do not want to use my attack for the turn to do something that, frankly, I could do with an item card. Incidentally, it's Green's Exploration, but it was called Green Search in Japan, and, well, let's just say that stuck. Okay then, but there is a second attack. 1 colorless energy, 20 damage. The defending Pokemon cannot retreat during your opponent's next turn. Well, this is very, very similar to Braviary, and we just talked about that one in like the previous video, so I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail about this. What I'll tell you is this. It's not great. Like, if I'm completely honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, it's not particularly great. I'm not particularly excited. It's fine, right? 20 damage is alright, and you are at least hitting for weakness against stuff like Gardevoir and Sylveon. But then again, you're still only doing 20 damage. So it's not like you're doing, 40. That's what you're doing with weakness. But it stops them retreating, and we have significantly worse switching options than we did. We're basically down to Switch itself and Tate and Liza. There's no Guzma running around with 3 or 4 in every deck. So maybe you can find your opponent where they're not able to switch because they're out of switching cards, and then you stop them retreating and they're stuck in the active, and maybe you can use this to deck them out, and maybe you can use this to stop them attacking for a couple turns, get a cheeky KO you wouldn't be able to get. But you're doing 20 damage and you've got 70 HP. The vast majority of stuff that you can stick in the active will just easily KO you long before you've KO'd them. Little bit awkward. One trick you do have here, however, and I love this. If your opponent doesn't play Lightning Energy, but does play Dedenne GX, you're actually hitting them for 0 damage. Which means Dedenne will never be KO'd and can't retreat. If they're out of switching options and they don't play Lightning Energy, you can use this custom catcher, a Dedenne into the active, and literally sit them there till your opponent decks out. That is a reason to play Mawile. I can see an argument for Mawile, I just don't think it's particularly great. But I do think it is better than Probopass. Probopass, now look, it's fairly beefy, it's always beefy. It's a stage 1, 130 HP, which to be fair, still isn't that great for a stage 1. Retreat cost of 3 is just low enough to not be able to use buff padding or search it out with Pokemaniac, which makes me upset. And then what we're left with is a fairly uninspiring Pokemon. We've got a resistance to Psychic, which is fine, but then we got that weakness to Fire, which, as mentioned, is terrible. First attack here, 3 colourless energy, flip a coin, if heads, paralysis. This is the argument for Probopass, because this attack can be used for just a triple acceleration energy. So that's what you do. You attack to triple acceleration energy and do 60, flip a coin for paralysis. But there's no Victini or anything here, so it is a true 50-50 shot. It's fine. I mean, 60 plus paralysis is great, but it's on a stage 1, it's on a coin flip, and you're basically having to use an energy card where you can only play 4 in your deck and it falls off at the end of your turn. You can use stuff like Welder and Malamar, but we've got so many better uses for Welder and Malamar. It's alright, and if you keep hitting heads, it'll be lovely, but you need triple acceleration energy, and it's on a coin flip. Triple acceleration energy to do 60 damage is not particularly good. Whoopsie. Second attack, 1 metal, 3 colourless energy, 80 damage. Flip 3 coins, this attack does 40 more for each heads. I don't like this. Because, okay, you can hit 200 damage, but that's 1 in 8 times, right? 1 in 8 times you're actually hitting 200 damage. And when you hit 200 damage, then Blacephalon is going down, and a whole bunch of other GXs. But that's 1 in 8 turns. Most of the time you'll be lucky to do 160, and we've got Steelix. You see, we got ourselves a Steelix fairly recently that for the same energy cost, metal and 3 colourless energy, does 170 damage. Now, admittedly, you do have to take 50 damage to yourself to do so, which is slightly upsetting. But it's also got a first attack that can do 90 for free energy, and it's got 180 HP, and it's got a retreat cost of 4, so it can use buff padding, and it can use Pokemaniac, and I'm just left here being like, why would I ever use Probopass over Steelix? I don't think Probopass is an offensive Pokemon, and I think if you can hit heads on the first attack and do 60 and buy yourself a turn, it's fine. But honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting here looking at it and I'm just like, well, it's worse than Steelix. Worse retreat cost, same weakness, same resistance, lower HP, weaker attack, same attack cost. I'm not playing it over Steelix. I'm giving Probopass 2 Wassies, and I'm giving Mawile between 2 and 3 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. I at least give Mawile credit because you can trap a Dedenne in the active until your opponent loses, and you can search out tag cards, even if you got an item card that can do that better. Never mind. I would like to know what you think about these cards, though, ladies and gentlemen, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.